Operation Highjump was a large-scale United States military operation in Antarctica, conducted in 1946-1947, which has sparked numerous conspiracy theories about its true purpose. Officially described as a training exercise, some believe it was actually a mission to confront a secret Nazi base established in Antarctica during World War II. Proponents of this theory point to the unusually large scale of the operation, which involved 4,700 men, 13 ships, and multiple aircraft, as evidence of its covert nature. Reports of unexpected resistance and the loss of aircraft during the mission have led some to speculate about encounters with advanced Nazi technology, or even extraterrestrial forces. Admiral Richard E. Byrd, who led the expedition, reportedly gave an interview describing the discovery of vast new territories beyond the South Pole, fueling theories about hidden lands and civilizations. Some researchers claim to have found evidence of secret Nazi expeditions to Antarctica in the years leading up to World War II, potentially establishing underground bases. The sudden termination of the operation ahead of schedule is seen by conspiracy theorists as proof that the mission encountered something beyond its capabilities. Declassified documents revealing continued U.S. interest in Antarctica in the following years are interpreted by some as ongoing attempts to monitor or contain whatever was discovered during Operation Highjump. Operation Northwoods was a proposed false flag operation planned by the U.S. Department of Defense in 1962, intended to justify military intervention in Cuba. The plan suggested staging terrorist attacks on U.S. soil and blaming them on the Cuban government to sway public opinion in favor of war. Declassified documents reveal that high-ranking military officials signed off on proposals that included sinking U.S. ships, orchestrating violent attacks in American cities, and even staging the shooting down of a civilian airliner. The operation was ultimately rejected by President John F. Kennedy and never implemented, but its mere existence has fueled conspiracy theories about other potential false flag events. Proponents of false flag theories often cite Operation Northwoods as evidence that governments are willing to harm their own citizens to achieve political objectives. The detailed nature of the plans, including methods for fabricating evidence, has led some to question the official narratives of subsequent national tragedies and terrorist attacks. Some researchers argue that elements of the Northwoods playbook may have been adapted and used in later covert operations, despite the original plan's rejection. The fact that the operation was seriously considered at high levels of government has raised questions about the extent of similar proposals that may remain classified. Operation Paperclip was a secret United States intelligence program that brought over 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians to America after World War II, many of whom were former members of the Nazi Party and SS. The operation's primary goal was to gain a military advantage over the Soviet Union in the Cold War by acquiring German scientific knowledge and expertise. Many of the scientists recruited through Operation Paperclip played crucial roles in the development of NASA's space program and the U.S. ballistic missile project. Declassified documents reveal that the U.S. government actively worked to conceal the scientists' Nazi ties and war crimes, often creating false employment and political biographies. Some of the recruited scientists had been involved in human experimentation in concentration camps, raising ethical questions about the operation's moral implications. Proponents argue that Operation Paperclip significantly advanced U.S. technology and scientific progress, contributing to achievements like the Apollo moon landings. Critics suggest that the operation allowed war criminals to escape justice and potentially influenced American scientific institutions with Nazi ideologies and methodologies. The success of Operation Paperclip has led some to speculate about the extent of similar programs and the potential long-term effects on U.S. government policies and scientific ethics. Orbs refer to mysterious, usually translucent spheres that appear in photographs and videos, often interpreted as evidence of spiritual or paranormal activity. These circular anomalies are typically not visible to the naked eye, but manifest in images, leading some to believe they represent energy forms or entities from other dimensions. Proponents of orb theory argue that these spheres are conscious beings, citing instances where orbs appear to move with purpose or respond to human thoughts and emotions. Some paranormal investigators claim to have captured orbs in locations known for ghostly activity, strengthening the belief that they are connected to the spirit world. Certain researchers have attempted to classify orbs based on color, suggesting that different hues represent various types of entities or energy signatures. Skeptics argue that orbs are simply dust particles, water droplets, or lens flares, but believers point to the specific patterns and behaviors exhibited by some orbs as evidence against these explanations. Some spiritualists and mediums claim the ability to communicate with orbs, reporting messages and insights allegedly received from these luminous spheres. The prevalence of orb sightings has increased with the rise of digital photography, leading to debates about whether technology is revealing previously unseen phenomena or creating new visual artifacts. Organ decalcification refers to a controversial theory suggesting that excess calcium in the body can lead to the hardening of organs and tissues, causing various health issues. Proponents argue that modern diets and environmental factors contribute to calcium overload, which they believe is responsible for conditions like arthritis, kidney stones, and arterial plaque. The theory proposes that certain foods, herbs, and supplements can help remove excess calcium from organs and soft tissues, restoring health and flexibility. Advocates point to the visible calcification in medical imaging of arteries and joints as evidence of widespread calcium misplacement in the body. Some practitioners claim success in treating patients with chronic pain, stiffness, and cardiovascular issues through decalcification protocols. Proponents often cite the work of alternative health researchers who have documented cases of apparent tissue softening and improved organ function after decalcification treatments. The theory challenges conventional medical understanding of calcium's role in the body, suggesting that not all calcification is a natural or benign process. Critics argue that the concept oversimplifies complex biological processes, while supporters maintain that it offers a new perspective on treating degenerative diseases. Organic black helicopters refers to a theory that certain unidentified aerial vehicles are not mechanical constructs, but living, biological entities disguised as helicopters. Proponents of this idea claim these beings are capable of shape-shifting and mimicking the appearance and sound of conventional aircraft to avoid detection. Witnesses report seeing these helicopters perform maneuvers that defy known laws of physics, such as impossible turns, sudden disappearances, or merging with solid objects. Some believers suggest these organic entities are extraterrestrial in origin, sent to Earth as advanced surveillance drones or scouts. Unusual electromagnetic interference and unexplained animal behavior in the presence of these craft are cited as evidence of their biological nature. Theorists point to the lack of visible rotors or inconsistent rotor movements as signs that these are not standard helicopters but organic imitations. Reports of black helicopters emerging from or disappearing into bodies of water without apparent damage support the notion of their adaptable, living structure. Some researchers claim to have found traces of unidentified organic material at locations where these craft allegedly landed or made contact with the ground. Original Earth theory proposes that our current planet is not the original celestial body humans first inhabited, but rather a replica or replacement. Proponents argue that a cataclysmic event or deliberate intervention led to humanity's transfer to this copy of Earth, with our memories and history altered to maintain the illusion of continuity. Believers point to unexplained geological anomalies, sudden changes in the Schumann resonance, and perceived shifts in celestial positioning as evidence of this planetary switch. Some adherents claim that certain individuals retain fragmentary memories or sensations of the original Earth, manifesting as déjà vu or inexplicable nostalgia for unfamiliar places. The theory suggests that subtle differences between the original and current Earth explain various paranormal phenomena and the Mandela effect. Proponents argue that ancient myths of world destruction and rebirth across cultures are actually records of the transition between Earths. Some versions of the theory propose that the switch to the current Earth was orchestrated by advanced extraterrestrial civilizations or higher dimensional beings. Believers often cite personal experiences of feeling out of place, or that the world seems not quite right, as intuitive evidence supporting the original Earth concept. ORMUS, an acronym for orbitally rearranged monoatomic elements, refers to a hypothetical state of matter with extraordinary properties, first proposed by David Hudson in the 1970s. Proponents claim that certain elements, particularly precious metals, can exist in a monatomic state where their electrons are arranged in stable orbitals, resulting in unique characteristics. These monoatomic elements are said to exhibit superconductivity at room temperature, levitation in magnetic fields, and the ability to pass through solid materials. Believers suggest that ORMUS has connections to ancient alchemical pursuits, potentially being the fabled philosopher's stone, or the biblical manna. Some researchers claim that ORMUS elements can be extracted from seawater, volcanic soils, and certain plants using specific chemical processes. Advocates propose that consuming ORMUS can have profound effects on human health, consciousness, and spiritual development. Proponents point to unusual physical phenomena observed during the production of ORMUS, such as weight fluctuations and energy emissions, as evidence of its unique properties. Critics argue that the claims surrounding ORMUS contradict established physics, while supporters maintain that it represents a new frontier in material science and quantum mechanics. Otzi the Iceman's Cannabis connection refers to the discovery of cannabis traces on the mummified remains of a 5,000-year-old man found in the Italian Alps. Researchers identified cannabis fibers on Otzi's belongings and detected THC, the psychoactive compound in cannabis, in his hair follicles. This finding suggests that cannabis use was prevalent in Copper Age Europe, challenging previous assumptions about the plant's history in the region. Some scientists propose that Otzi may have used cannabis for medicinal purposes, as he suffered from several health conditions, including arthritis and intestinal parasites. The presence of cannabis fibers on Otzi's equipment indicates the plant may have been used for practical purposes, such as making rope or clothing. This discovery has led to speculation about the ritual or spiritual use of cannabis in ancient European cultures. The Otzi-cannabis connection provides evidence for the long-standing relationship between humans and the cannabis plant, dating back at least 5,000 years. This finding has implications for our understanding of early human migration patterns and the spread of cannabis use across prehistoric Europe. Ouija refers to a spirit board used as a supposed method of communicating with the dead or other supernatural entities. The board consists of letters, numbers, and simple words, with a movable indicator or planchette that spells out messages as participants lightly rest their fingers on it. Proponents believe that spirits or subconscious psychic abilities guide the planchette to reveal hidden knowledge or communicate with the deceased. Some users report receiving accurate information about past events or future occurrences that they claim could not have been known through normal means. Skeptics argue that the ideomotor effect, where subtle unconscious muscle movements guide the planchette, explains the board's apparent ability to produce messages. Historical accounts describe the use of similar divination tools across various cultures, suggesting a long-standing belief in such methods of spiritual communication. Paranormal investigators sometimes use Ouija boards as part of their research, claiming to document intelligent responses from non-physical entities. Some religious groups warn against the use of Ouija boards, believing they can open doorways to malevolent spirits or demonic forces. Psychological studies have shown that Ouija board users often experience a sense of dissociation, leading to a belief that an external force is controlling the planchette. Oumuamua refers to the first known interstellar object detected passing through our solar system, observed in October 2017. Its unusual cigar-like shape and unexpected acceleration as it left our solar system led some scientists to propose that it could be an artificial object. The object's trajectory and speed indicated that it originated from outside our solar system, making it the first confirmed interstellar visitor. Astrophysicist Avi Loeb suggested that Oumuamua might be a light sail, a form of spacecraft propulsion, sent by an extraterrestrial civilization. The object's lack of visible coma or tail, typically seen in comets, added to the mystery surrounding its nature and origin. Some researchers proposed that Oumuamua's acceleration could be explained by outgassing, but no direct evidence of this process was observed. The unusual reflectivity and rotation of the object led to speculation about its composition, with some suggesting it could be made of exotic materials. The brief window of observation and the object's rapid departure from our solar system left many questions unanswered, fueling ongoing debate about its true nature. Overriding depression with optimism refers to a psychological approach that suggests actively cultivating positive thoughts can counteract depressive symptoms. Proponents argue that consciously focusing on optimistic perspectives can rewire neural pathways, effectively altering brain chemistry and mood. This theory is supported by studies showing that practicing gratitude and positive visualization techniques can lead to increased production of neurotransmitters associated with well-being. Some researchers claim that consistently overriding negative thoughts with optimistic ones can create new default thought patterns, potentially breaking the cycle of depression. Advocates point to the success of cognitive behavioral therapy, which often incorporates elements of this approach, as evidence of its effectiveness. Neuroplasticity research suggests that repetitive positive thinking can strengthen neural connections associated with happiness and resilience. Proponents argue that this method can be particularly effective when combined with other treatments, such as medication or traditional therapy. Critics caution that this approach may oversimplify complex mental health issues, while supporters maintain that it offers a practical tool for managing depressive thoughts. Some practitioners report success in using this technique to manage mild to moderate depression, citing improved mood and increased motivation in their daily lives. Oxygen is hallucinogenic refers to a theory suggesting that the oxygen we breathe has mind-altering properties that affect our perception of reality. Proponents argue that our bodies have adapted to oxygen's psychoactive effects over millions of years, making us unaware of its continuous influence on our consciousness. Some supporters of this idea point to the euphoric and sometimes disorienting effects experienced during oxygen therapy or in high-altitude environments with increased oxygen levels. The theory draws parallels between the effects of oxygen and other psychoactive substances, noting similarities in how they interact with brain chemistry. Advocates claim that altered states of consciousness achieved through meditation or breathwork techniques are actually the result of changes in oxygen consumption and utilization by the brain. Some researchers propose that oxygen's potential hallucinogenic properties could explain certain near-death experiences, where individuals report vivid hallucinations during periods of oxygen deprivation, followed by rapid reoxygenation. Proponents suggest that the variation in oxygen levels throughout Earth's history may have played a role in the evolution of consciousness and perception across species. Critics argue that this theory oversimplifies complex neurological processes, while supporters maintain that it offers a novel perspective on the nature of consciousness and reality. The Oz factor refers to a psychological state reported by some individuals during encounters with unexplained phenomena, particularly UFO sightings. This experience is characterized by a sudden sense of isolation, as if the witness has been transported to another reality, similar to Dorothy's arrival in the Land of Oz. People experiencing the Oz factor often report a feeling of timelessness and a muting of ambient sounds, creating an eerie sense of detachment from their surroundings. Proponents argue that this altered state of consciousness may be induced by electromagnetic fields or other unknown energies associated with anomalous events. Some researchers suggest that the Oz factor could be a defense mechanism of the human mind when confronted with something beyond its normal range of experience. Witnesses often describe a sensation of being observed or a one-on-one connection with the phenomenon, as if they were specifically chosen for the encounter. The consistent reports of the Oz factor across various cultures and time periods have led some ufologists to consider it a key indicator of genuine anomalous experiences. Critics argue that the Oz factor may be a result of the shock and awe of witnessing something unusual, while supporters maintain that it represents a unique altered state of consciousness. Paleolithic deep state, also known as the Cavemen theory, proposes that an ancient and highly advanced civilization existed during the Stone Age, secretly controlling human development throughout history. Proponents argue that this hidden society possessed knowledge and technology far beyond what is commonly attributed to early humans. The theory suggests that this advanced group has manipulated major historical events and guided technological progress to maintain their power and influence. Supporters point to unexplained archaeological anomalies and out-of-place artifacts as evidence of this ancient civilization's superior capabilities. Some adherents believe that modern secret societies and powerful elites are direct descendants of this Paleolithic deep state, continuing their ancestors' legacy of control. The theory often incorporates elements of ancient astronaut hypotheses, proposing that the advanced cavemen may have had extraterrestrial origins or connections. Proponents argue that certain cave paintings and prehistoric artwork contain hidden messages or advanced scientific knowledge, supporting the existence of a sophisticated Stone Age culture. Critics dismiss the Paleolithic deep state theory as pseudo-history, while supporters maintain that it offers an alternative explanation for human progress and societal structures. Pancreas Denial refers to a fringe medical theory that argues the pancreas is a vestigial organ with no significant function in the human body. Proponents of this view claim that the role of the pancreas in producing insulin and other hormones has been overstated by mainstream medicine. Supporters argue that diabetes and other pancreatic disorders are actually caused by other factors, such as environmental toxins or dietary imbalances. Some adherents believe that the emphasis on pancreatic function is part of a larger conspiracy by pharmaceutical companies to sell diabetes medications and treatments. Proponents point to cases of people living without a pancreas as evidence that the organ is not essential for survival or proper metabolic function. The theory suggests that alternative treatments focusing on detoxification and nutrition can effectively manage conditions traditionally attributed to pancreatic dysfunction. Some supporters claim that the pancreas is actually a dormant organ that can be awakened through specific practices, unlocking hidden healing potential within the body. Critics argue that Pancreas Denial dangerously dismisses well-established medical knowledge, while supporters maintain that it offers a new perspective on metabolic health. Panspermia is a hypothesis proposing that life exists throughout the universe and is distributed by asteroids, comets, and planetoids. This theory suggests that the seeds of life, in the form of microorganisms or chemical precursors, can survive space travel and seed life on suitable planets. Proponents argue that the rapid emergence of life on early Earth, shortly after the planet became habitable, supports the idea of an extraterrestrial origin. Some researchers point to the discovery of complex organic molecules in interstellar space, and on comets as evidence for the plausibility of panspermia. The theory has gained credibility from experiments showing that some microorganisms can survive the extreme conditions of space for extended periods. Supporters of panspermia cite the presence of amino acids and other organic compounds in meteorites as potential vehicles for delivering life's building blocks to planets. Some versions of the theory propose that intelligent civilizations might intentionally spread life throughout the galaxy, a concept known as directed panspermia. The discovery of extremophiles on Earth, organisms that thrive in harsh environments, has strengthened the argument that life could survive interplanetary or interstellar travel. The paper towel conspiracy refers to the belief that certain paper towel dispensers in public restrooms contain hidden cameras disguised as motion sensors. This theory posits that powerful entities are using these inconspicuous devices to conduct widespread surveillance, circumventing laws prohibiting cameras in bathrooms. Proponents argue that similar technology could be embedded in automatic urinals and toilets, creating a comprehensive monitoring network in spaces assumed to be private. Some point to the sleek electronic designs of modern dispensers as evidence of their potential to house miniature cameras and transmission equipment. Believers suggest that the apparent blind spots in public surveillance are intentionally cultivated to lull people into a false sense of security. They contend that the strategic placement of these devices in restrooms could provide valuable intelligence on illicit activities or serve as a means of blackmail. Skeptics argue that the logistics and legal risks of such a widespread operation would be impractical, but supporters maintain that powerful entities operate above the law. The conspiracy taps into broader concerns about privacy erosion and the extent of government and corporate surveillance in everyday life. Paradigm recalescence refers to a theory proposing that scientific breakthroughs don't replace previous paradigms, but refine and reshape them into a collective amalgamation of knowledge. This concept challenges the idea of abrupt paradigm shifts, suggesting instead that scientific progress is more evolutionary, integrating and adapting prior knowledge. Proponents argue that this process is evident in various scientific fields, such as physics, where Newton's laws coexist with Einstein's theories, each applicable in different contexts. The theory suggests that newer scientific models often incorporate elements of older paradigms, refining them to accommodate new discoveries and observations. Supporters point to examples in biology, where Darwin's theory of evolution didn't entirely negate the concept of species fixity, but redefined it within a temporal context. Advocates argue that recognizing paradigm recalescence promotes a more integrative approach to scientific advancement, encouraging researchers to build upon existing knowledge rather than seeking to completely overturn it. The concept emphasizes the importance of historical scientific contexts in understanding current scientific landscapes and directing future inquiries. Proponents believe that embracing paradigm recalescence could lead to more holistic and synergistic growth of scientific knowledge, particularly in addressing complex, interdisciplinary challenges. Proponents of paranormal beings cite numerous eyewitness accounts, historical records, and cultural traditions as evidence for their existence. Some researchers argue that unexplained phenomena, such as electromagnetic field fluctuations or infrared anomalies, could indicate the presence of these entities. Paranormal beings are sometimes associated with specific locations, leading to investigations of allegedly haunted sites or areas with frequent cryptid sightings. Supporters point to the consistency of descriptions across different cultures and time periods as potential evidence for the reality of these beings. Some parapsychologists propose that paranormal beings may exist in dimensions or frequencies beyond our current ability to detect or measure. Critics argue that paranormal beings are products of imagination or misinterpretation of natural phenomena, while believers maintain that science has yet to explain all aspects of reality. Advances in technology, such as thermal imaging and high-sensitivity audio recording, are used by investigators to gather data on potential paranormal activity. Patomskiy Crater refers to a mysterious geological formation located in Siberia that has puzzled scientists since its discovery in 1949. The crater is a cone-shaped mound of shattered limestone blocks, rising about 40 meters high, with a diameter of 180 meters at its base. Unlike typical impact craters, Patomskiy Crater has an unusual dome-like structure with a small inner crater at its top, leading some researchers to propose unconventional theories about its origin. Some scientists suggest that the crater could be the result of a buried UFO or a secret Soviet nuclear test, citing its unique shape and the lack of a clear explanation for its formation. Geological studies have found that the crater is relatively young, estimated to be between 250 and 350 years old, which adds to the mystery surrounding its sudden appearance. Researchers have detected higher levels of background radiation in the area, leading to speculation about potential connections to radioactive materials or unknown energy sources. Some theories propose that the crater could be the result of a natural gas explosion or a rare type of volcanic activity, although the region is not known for volcanic events. The area around Patomskiy Crater is reported to have unusual properties, with some claiming that compasses behave erratically and that the site has healing powers. Pattern manipulation refers to the theory that by understanding and altering patterns in various systems, one can control or influence outcomes in the world. Proponents argue that reality is fundamentally based on recognizable patterns, from mathematical structures in nature to neural pathways in the brain. The concept draws from diverse fields including mathematics, psychology, computer science, and neurobiology, suggesting a universal applicability. Supporters point to chaos theory and fractal geometry as examples of how pattern recognition has led to breakthroughs in understanding complex systems. In computer science, pattern manipulation forms the basis of machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithms, demonstrating its practical applications. Some researchers propose that manipulating neural patterns through techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy can improve mental health and alter behavior. Advocates suggest that by recognizing and manipulating patterns, we can enhance our ability to predict and control future events. The theory has implications for fields ranging from economics and meteorology to personal development and social dynamics. Critics argue that not all systems can be reduced to predictable patterns, while proponents maintain that deeper, less obvious patterns may still exist in seemingly chaotic systems.